The Art of Poetry by Quintus Horatius Flaccus. Translated by Andrew Wood. Read for LibriVox.org by Lenny. Part 1. The Art of Poetry. To the Epistles. If to a human head a painter choose to join a horse's neck, and then should use limbs from all quarters gathered, them invest with varied plumage drawn from many a nest, so that above a lovely maid he'd show, but ending in a hideous fish below, could you, my friends, from ridicule refrain, when called to view a thing so strange, so vain? In such a work, Epistles, to me it seems, a book of fancies wrought like sick men's dreams, resembles greatly, for from first to last, not in one mould the thoughts and words are cast. Painters, you say, and poets for their task have had such license fair as they may ask. Such license is legitimate, we know. In turn we seek and give it, but not so that mild and cruel may stand tete-a-tete, that snakes with birds, tigers with lambs may mate. To pompous introductions, even such as seem to us at first to promise much, oft here and there there's tacked some purple patch, which by its lustre bright the eye may catch. When Dian's grove and altar they portray, and the meandering streams as on their way through pleasant fields they rush, the river Rhine, the watery bough, they're out of place, though fine. I well a cypress can depict, say you, but what of that if you've to paint a view for a price paid, where a man hopelessly swims from a wreck athwart a stormy sea? Why should we what a jar had been designed, as the wheel turns a sorry picture find? But, in a word, whate'er your subject be, let it have oneness and simplicity. O sire, sons worthy of that sire, believe, appearances of right most bards deceive. If brevity I labour to secure, then this results, my lines become obscure. In striving after smoothness, it may be, I fail in spirit and in energy. Say that my lines in lofty strain I cast, the chances are I'm landed in bombast. He who overcautious dreads the tempest's sound is apt to crouch and creep along the ground. He who one theme would vary monstrously, dolphins in woods depicts, boars in the sea. But from a fall to fly through want of skill may haply lead to error greater still. An artist near the Aemilian school who lives, in style unique to nails expression gives. Well, too, soft hair in bronze he'll imitate. Yet, in the end, to an unhappy fate, his work may come because proportion meet he fails to give, nor makes the whole complete. Then be like such a one, should I compose, I'd rather be distinguished by a nose which draws attention by its ugliness, while fine black eyes and hair I might possess. That you should choose a subject, you who write, that's suited to your strength is proper quite. Right too, that you should ponder long with care what your powers can and what they cannot bear. Him who has chosen what his strength avails, nor eloquence nor lucid order fails. Unless I greatly err and speak amiss, the beauty and the worth of order's this, that it will say just now, without delay, exactly what just now it ought to say. That many things 'twill to defer think fit, and for the present many things omit. That of a promised work the author will this part prefer, and that reject with skill. Nice too, and cautious in the words you use. Well you'll succeed if you should introduce, by skilful combination, some new phrase, which may from henceforth take a noted place. If haply to describe it needful be subjects abstruse by words coined recently, these words to fashion we're compelled, I own, which to high-girt strategy were unknown. And license will be given as needs occasion, but license it must be in moderation. New words, and words but recently contrived, will credit have, if they should be derived from a Greek root with small degree of change. What, truly, shall a Roman grant arrange to Plautus and Cecilius, which in vain Virgil and Varius may hope to gain? Shall there be grudged to me a boon not great, if I a few new phrases can create, since Ennia's and Cato's conversation enriched the language of the Roman nation, and new words introduced, none will refuse, nor have refused words sealed by present use. As in the woods with each declining year the old leaves fall, those first which first appear, so likewise words grown old decay and die, while new-born words like youth bloom vigorously. Ourselves and all we have for death are cast, whether the port which from the north wind's blast our fleet protects, a royal work, or what was once not but a sterile marshy flat on which in boats one then might row, which now feeds neighboring towns and bears the heavy plough, or Tiber once to crops with mischief fraught, but which a better course has now been taught. If these and all the works of men must wane, say, shall the force and grace of words remain? But many words which now are obsolete may yet revive, and some which now we treat with honor shall go down, if custom will, custom the judge, law, rule of language still. 'Twas Homer first who taught us in what verse sad wars, kings, leaders' actions to rehearse, alternate lines for plaintive moods devised, joyful emotions afterwards comprised. But who first used short elegiac strains, grammarians fight, a moot point it remains. 'Twas with his own iambics wroth supplied, Archilochus, that measure has been tried, both by our comic writers and by those who court the tragic muse. That foot they chose, because their dialogue it suited well, as calculated too the noise to quell of an excited audience, and as prone the action of the stage to hurry on. The gods, their offspring the heroic race, the athlete who has gained the victor's place, the winning horse, the youthful lover's sighs, of rosy wine the jovial draughts likewise, all these to celebrate the tuneful nine, the grateful duty to the lyre assign. Why am I greeted as a poet now, if I'm unable, if I know not how, with change marked of style and coloring, the varied themes of poetry to sing? Why should I choose, led by false modesty, rather than learn, still ignorant to be? A comic subject loathes a tragic strain. The banquet of Aegisthus will disdain familiar phrases which deep feeling mock, and which are worthy only of the sock. Then let each kind of verse its proper place assume, and hold it with becoming grace. Yet comedy sometimes her tone will raise, and angry Cremes rails in swelling phrase. The tragic Telephus and Peleus moan, oft in prosaic style, when they alone, poor and in exile stand, away they cast sesquipedalian words full of bombast, if the spectators' hearts to touch they care, while sad complaints before them they lay bare. Mere beauty in a poem won't suffice. It must affect the feelings and entice the minds of those who listen to proceed whithersoever it may onwards lead. As those who laugh to those who laugh respond, so between weeping mortals there's a bond. If you would have me weep, you must first grieve, then sympathy or sorrow will receive. Peleus and Telephus, without dispute, I'll sleep or laugh at words that do not suit. Sad words to sad looks are appropriate. Words full of threats become the passionate. Lascivious talk well suits the wanton leer, and serious words accord with the severe. Nature at first to fortune's varied path adapts our minds. She goads us on to wrath, makes us rejoice, or causes us to frown, when she with pain and sorrow weigh us down. But after for the mind's emotions strong, she makes us find expression through the tongue. If a man's talk accords not with his station, both knights and mob for laughter find occasion. A difference great there will be then perforce, whether a hero or a god discourse. The man who to his ears right judgment owes, or he in whose young veins the hot blood flows, the nurse officious or the matron staid, the merchant who long voyages has made, or he who tills the ground, the Colchian, the Argive, Theban, or Assyrian. Follow tradition's lead, or be content persons consistent with themselves to invent. If of renowned Achilles you would tell, let him be active and implacable. let him be wrathful and impetuously, that laws were made for him with oaths deny. And to his arms all merit arrogate, Medea should be fierce, unbent by fate. Ixion treacherous, Ino lachrymose, Io a waif, Orestes crushed with woes. If to the stage a theme as yet untried you venture to commit, if you decide a character that's new to broach, be sure that to the last that character endure as from the first it started, and shall be born with itself throughout consistently. 'Tis difficult to treat a common theme, so that one's own it properly may seem. Suppose the Iliad you should dramatize, you'd on a course adventure much more wise than should you be the first to make your own subjects as yet unsung, as yet unknown. But public themes private by right you make, if no slow course of commonplace you take. If slavish rendering word by word you shun, not as an imitator headlong run into a strait from whence your modesty or laws of verse forbid you to get free. Don't, like the cyclic bard of old, begin, I'll sing of Priam's fate and Ward's loud din. What yields the boaster who thus blows his horn? The mountain's labor, and a mouse is born. More rightly acts the bard who not essays in such unskilful fashion when he says, sing Muse, the man who after Troy's dire fate the habits watched and towns of many estate. With him no smoke succeeds to fleshes bright, but out of smoke he aims at causing light, that he his striking marvels forth may bring, such as Antipathes, the giant king, Scylla, Charybdis, and the Cyclops why. Nor Diomedes' return does he indite, starting from Meleager's death, nor date from the twin eggs the Trojan war so great. He's hastening ever to the denouement, into the middle of events along. His auditors he hurries as if they were well acquainted with them ere that day. Things which poetic treatment is not fit to render striking, these he will omit. And so he molds his fiction, and so blends what's false with what is true to suit his ends, that twixt beginning, middle, end may be, observe no traces of discrepancy. What I and what the people wish now hear, if you admirers fain would have sincere, who will sit on until the curtains rise, until applaud ye all, the player cries. Note well all ages' habits as they live, to varying ears and dispositions give the character which they should each receive. Mark first the boy who just has learned to talk, and with a steady foot alone to walk. With those of his own age in gambols ranging, soon angry, calmed as soon, with each hour changing. The beardless youth, released from tutor's claims, delights in horses, dogs, and campus games. Plastic as wax in being bent to vice, churlish to those who tender him advice, slow in providing what may prove of use, yet of his money lavishly profuse. Haughty, ambitious, readily he's moved, that to resign which he but lately loved. His views now changed, his manly eye and mind seek wealth and friendships, honors strive to find. He's careful lest himself he should commit to things which soon to change he may see fit. Discomforts many the old man surround, either because he seeks what went is found, and hoards up wretchedly, or that all business with timidity and coldness he transacts, procrastinates, through long vista hopes, inactive waits. Thirsts for long life, is peevish and morose, in praise of his young days is prone to prose. Blame of his juniors he will oft express, and chide their actions with censoriousness. Years as they come bring comforts in their train, years as they go take them away again. Assign not to a youth an old man's part, nor let a boy possess a grown man's heart. To every stage of life be sure you give the proper adjuncts which each should receive. Upon the stage the facts are either shown, or they are reported as already done. Things by the ear received men's minds excite much less than when submitted to the sight. For the spectator with his trusty eyes to his own mind impressions best applies. Yet you'll avoid to bring upon the scene things worthy only to be done within, and which in vivid words appropriate one who had witnessed them can well relate. Let not Medea decency affright, and kill her offspring in the people's sight. And let not Atreus in his wicked rage human intestines cook upon the stage. Display not Procnis turned into a bird, nor Cadmus to a snake, both scenes absurd. Whatever things like this you show to me, I hate and view with incredulity. A play should have 5 acts, nor less nor more, to be in vogue and acted o'er and o'er. The aid invoke not of a deity, unless a not worthy a god there be. Let no 4th person on the stage intrude, to mar the dialogue, but it is good. The chorus should sustain the actor's art, and vigorous action to the play impart. But 'twixt the acts it should not utter aught that's not connected with, nor helps the plot. Let it support the good, with counsel aid. The angry rule, love those to sin afraid. Let it to frugal tables yield applause. Let it advise sound and impartial laws. Let it with justice strict imbue the states, and to them peace command with open gates. Let it conceal all secret things that may to it committed be, and let it pray, and supplicate the gods good luck to make, visit the wretched, and the proud forsake. The olden flute, not then, as now 'tis found, jointed with brass, rivaling the trumpet sound, but slender, with few stops, and simply made, served well the chorus to sustain and aid, and with its tones the theatre, which still was not close crammed sufficiently to fill. There flocked the people, countable though small, their number frugal, modest, chaste withal. When they victorious add to their domains, and when a wider wall their towns contains, when noonday draughts of wine, free as they please, and holidays the genius appease, then with more license rhythm and time unite, to help the players and the crowd delight. Yet what of taste could the rude rustic know, with it polite mixed up, noble with low? Thus the musician tended to impart movements luxurious to the ancient art, and up and down the stage with measured tread behind him dragged the robe with train outspread. Notes too were added to the solemn lyre, and the bard's words impetuous, full of fire, a style of dialect then introduced, which ne'er before upon the stage was used. As to the things present shrewd the sentiment, and as to things to come so prescient, I would bear in truth comparison full well with any vaunted Delphic oracle. The poet who a tragic drama wrote, in competition for a vile he-goat, soon after rustic satires naked too, brought on the stage, 'twas a rough jest, his view was, saving tragedy's severity, to lure and keep with grateful novelty him who, his sacred duties duly done, drunk to the playhouse came for roistering fun. When merry witty satires thus you choose into a tragedy to introduce, and to convert things serious into jest, then he who played a god or hero dressed lately in robes of purple mixed with gold, should not, by using language low, make bold to pass into mean taverns, nor take flights, shunning the ground to clouds and empty heights. But tragedy, who hates light prattling phrase, like matron bid to dance on holidays, will mingle with those satires pert and free, with some reserve and bashful modesty. But should I write satiric plays, I'd choose not plain and literal words alone to use, nor from the tragic style so deviate that it would matter not if Davus prayed, and the bold Pythia, when from Simos she extracts his cash by errant roguery, or whether speak Silenus, grave but free, who guards and serves his foster deity. End of Part 1. This recording is in the public domain.